We're excited to share with visitors the ongoing progress of the museum renovation. We prepared a brief presentation to help ensure that our visitors enjoy an informative and safe experience. Visitors to the Nîmois building renovation construction site must be carefully organized to ensure that visitors remain entirely safe. This will involve ensuring our guests are appropriately equipped, determining a safe tour route, ensuring our guests are assisted by appropriate personnel, and having suitable first aid and welfare facilities as well as emergency procedures in place. In order to ensure a safe visit for all, protective facial coverings may be required of visitors touring the Nîmois construction site. Well-fitting face masks may be required depending on policies and guidelines issued by Nîmois, our general contractor, and/or the District of Columbia. Facial coverings will also protect against the inhalation of hazardous materials which may be present on the site. The cornerstone of our historic building was laid by Theodore Roosevelt more than a century ago, back in 1907. Like many historic structures, materials that are considered hazardous today, such as asbestos and lead paint, were used in the building's original construction and during subsequent renovations. As part of the renovation project, we've been working with our general contractor to remove or encapsulate these materials as necessary. Abatement activities may be underway during your visit. Active abatement work areas will be off limits to visitors. An industrial hygienist will be on site at all times while such work is underway, monitoring air quality outside the work area to ensure the safety of all building occupants. Now we're going to talk a little bit about what this presentation will consist of. The safety presentation will cover 4 primary areas: an overview of the worksite safety guidelines covered in the presentation, areas of controlled access, protective attire, general safety precautions you should be aware of, and a wrap-up of the presentation. All Nîmois construction site visitors may be asked to sign in to register their visit upon arrival to the site and will be offered personal protective equipment which must be worn at all times while on the site. The site registration process serves a very important purpose. The construction site management team must be aware of how many visitors are present on site at all times, and ideally where on the site those visitors can be found. In the event of an emergency, the construction site management team must be able to quickly locate and gather visitors and guide them to safety on or off the site. All visitors on the Nîmois construction site must be escorted at all times by a construction site management team representative and/or a designated Nîmois representative. In the event that an emergency alarm is sounded, visitors should follow the direction of their escort and should not separate from the visiting group. In addition to guidelines requiring tour guides, there may be areas of the construction site that are completely off limits to visitors. That could be because of hazards related to the processes that are underway or the unsafe nature of the area itself. The dress code for construction sites is designed first and foremost for safety reasons. The type of clothing that is required of visitors is intended to protect them from the inherent dangers of active construction sites. While visiting the Nîmois construction site, it's important to remember to take safety precautions to avoid injury and prevent work disruptions. Wearing proper clothing that provides protection from work hazards is a precaution that we all must take. Now let's take some time to review some important clothing guidelines when visiting the Nîmois construction site. On an active construction site, workers could be transporting materials above your head, with a crane for example, or materials may not be secured. Hard hats will protect your head from any potential injury. Hard hats should be adjusted to fit securely on your head and worn at all times while visiting the Nîmes construction site. You can adjust your hard hat for a proper fit with an adjustable internal band. Safety vests are worn on active work sites. These vests are made of highly reflective materials that keep workers and visitors safe and visible. We will issue Class 2 reflective safety vests, like the one pictured here, to all invited construction site visitors. Appropriate footwear includes boots or shoes with hard soles, and preferably with steel toes. Shoes with open toes or high heels and soft soles are strongly discouraged, as there are sharp objects that can be stepped on or heavy materials that can be dropped on feet. Construction sites are often unlevel, and appropriate supported footwear will decrease the chance of sharp objects piercing the sole of the shoe and slipping or tripping. Boots or leather shoes with hard soles are required. Visitors wearing tennis shoes, sandals, clogs, or open-toed shoes may not be permitted to tour the site. Any active construction site is a hazard for your eyes. Dirt, dust, rocks, and construction materials are constantly moving around on the ground and through the air. Wear safety glasses to protect your eyes from flying debris. If you wear glasses, safety shields that cover your existing glasses are advisable and recommended. Sunglasses are not to be worn in enclosed or covered areas, as they may restrict your vision. Clothing that covers your arms and legs will provide protection from possible cuts and bruises. Covering your extremities will protect you from hazards such as sparks, wood chips, or other flying debris that can be present on an active work site. Hearing protection is sometimes required and always useful to have available should you need it. You might want to bring along a pair of acoustic filtering foam earplugs. Hearing protection may not be available for loan at the work site. Now let's wrap up things and review some reminders that you should consider before visiting the work site. Listen to and follow all instructions that your escort or site manager may give you. It's easy to get lost or encounter hazards on construction sites, so if you don't know where you're going, it's best to stick with your guide on the visit. They will be familiar with the site and will be able to guide you on a safe route and avoid hazards. There will be many areas of interest that will draw your attention as you tour construction site. Don't allow yourself to be distracted to the point where you become unaware of potential hazards or dangerous surroundings. It's common to have a sense of general awareness of the construction site that you are visiting. If there is a place where materials appear to be unstable, or if workers are actively working, don't approach that area. Make eye contact with machinery operators if you have to cross a machine's path. Always carefully watch your step. Open shafts and other holes in the floor are not uncommon at active work sites. It can be tempting to want to see the progression of every nook and cranny of a new build, particularly if you're closely associated with the museum, perhaps as a Nîmes board member or employee. Resist the urge to stray too far from your escort. Unfinished areas, unsecured materials, and fully operational tools can prove to be significant hazards to those unacquainted with construction site protocol. It may be tempting to touch, tap, or knock on objects at a construction site. Please don't. Some materials may be completely unsecured. Wires or cables may be electrified, or paint may be wet. For safety purposes, assume that everything is unsecured as you make your way through the construction site. Photography is prohibited unless approved by an authorized NMWA representative. Visit the restroom before you visit the work site. Restrooms and running water may not be available during an active construction. Read and obey signs. Signage will be posted to warn visitors about closed areas, wet cement, spray painting in progress, loose boards, etc. Please pay attention to construction-related signage warning of possible hazards. Upon completion of your tour, you'll be asked to return any safety equipment that was issued to you. As a visitor, you're not expected to know what everything is on site. Be observant of your surroundings and take the opportunity to ask questions to get the most out of your tour. We hope that you found this video presentation helpful as you prepare for your visit to the NMWA renovation worksite. Remember that your safety on the job site potentially affects the safety of others as well. If you get hurt or require assistance, others could become injured while trying to help you. So, let's turn up the volume on your situational awareness, stay safe, and enjoy the tour.